So when I start a project, I think it's really important to have clarity on both the user and the stakeholders' problems. And if you don't understand what a stakeholder is, it's somebody who's connected to the user, right? So it's to ensure that I'm actually solving the problem, not just to build trust and psychological safety with the client and the stakeholder, but also to build it with my team. Right? I'm working on my own when it comes to this, but I'm also keeping in mind that as a designer, I want to work with a team because at the end of the day, I can't do this alone, right? I am a problem solver. I am a designer, but I'm also a developer. But still, you can't do it alone, right? You need people in order to create empathy and trust within your design because there are things that engineers can point out that you as a designer wouldn't notice otherwise. So with all that being said, I didn't have a full contact list of people with early stage Alzheimer's. So I had to go online to this Facebook support group and I interviewed about 6 people and I created a survey through Google Forms for about 20 participants. Now, interesting part was like most of these people were women, right? Between the ages of 65 to 89, right? And about 20% of them were men. And I thought the most interesting part was for the men, they don't have caretakers. Not only that, they live completely on disability, right? And for the people who do have caretakers, again, they don't have money, right? These people are typically poor. The people who are taking care of these people are our relatives, like daughters, nieces, you know what I'm saying? These people are typically 35, 55 years old. Typically they're working a full-time job. People with Alzheimer's, they need routines, right? They need them because they're mental anchors for them to remember appointments, names, important details. And again, sometimes these people are completely alone. If you have a caretaker, you're lucky. And so when it comes to designing this app, I had to keep that in mind, because when I was interviewing the caretakers, again, they typically have a job. 82% of these people deal with high stress and burnout. They got their own medical issues to deal with. One of the interviewees, they were telling me how, sometimes they forget, about their mother's appointments as well, and how they need reminders just as much as anybody else. Sometimes CVS, I've dealt with this myself, right? You go there and you're trying to pick up your prescription and they don't have it, and it's like, what can you do? These people feel like there's not much they can do and they stress out, because these people, the people they're taking care of, these aren't just strangers, these are their family members. They genuinely want to help them out and they feel helpless. They feel like they don't really know where to reach, where to look out for, who to ask to solve their issues. And so I'm saying all this just to say that when it comes to this project, this app is not about solving all their problems, right? This app is about teaching people how to get through it. Because when you're going through a disability and when you're taking care of somebody going through a disability, you may think that the world is cheering you on. But in reality, you feel isolated and alone because it's truly on you. And this is what I've been keeping to the forefront when it comes to this design.